Oh hey, what's going on everybody? My name's Kobe Scroby and welcome to Dagon. Thanks so much for coming to hang out with me today. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed the stream, don't forget to hit the like button for me. Leave me your thoughts in the comments. You can also subscribe to the channel for more streams and other videos. So I apologize for the confusion and for being so late tonight. I was totally planning on playing on a new Ark Survival Evolved server that I was invited to. On a new map, and I tried for a good 2 hours to get on this server. I did everything. I mean, every time on Ark, every time you try to get on a new server, it always takes at least an hour to get it to work right. I tried everything except for uninstalling and reinstalling the game, and the only reason I didn't try that is because Ark is 316 gigabytes. So it would have taken me way longer to do that. I will work on that and we'll try it again this weekend. But as I was doing that, I remembered that this Dagon, the Little Glass Bottle DLC, was released today. This game, well actually, Dagon here was the base game which I played back in September of last year. And this, the Little Glass Bottle DLC, just released today. So I wanted to play this anyway, and I forgot that it was released today. So I'm excited to check this out. I think it's only about a half an hour. So I almost wonder if I should start at the beginning and play the base game again. But anyway, this is about a half an hour, and then Malik has a video that he was wanting me to watch and react to, so we could do that after we get done with this. So I'm just kind of letting some people come in here at the moment so I don't get started without them. Yeah, so I got started at about 8:50. Hey, Malik's here. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I don't know if you just heard what I was saying, but this is only about a half an hour, I believe. Maybe 45 minutes. Possibly an hour at the most, and then after that we'll watch your Team Fortress video because we'll need some more stuff to fill up some more time. So I guess we'll just get started here. It's been 5 minutes. Yeah, let's go.
I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it. It shall not find me.
So this is an H.P. Lovecraft, basically interactive visual novel. I'm kind of wondering if we should start at the beginning. Now, I did play the base game, as I was saying, about a year ago, and there is a playlist in the description where I played that. So I think that only took me 45 minutes, maybe an hour to do. So it wouldn't take that long for you to go back and watch that if you wanted to. Oh, man.
God, that hand! The window! The window!
Do I have to jump out the window? So this is where the base game ended. That was the end of it. Oh, what? Hold on. I just downloaded this. Why can I not play it? What? Oh, I thought it was going to go right into it. Okay. Maybe I'm not where I thought I was here. Okay. Or maybe I needed to do that. Now I just showed you the ending. I just hit continue, and I thought it was going to do that and then take me right into... So how the hell do I play the freaking... What? What? Do I need to start over? What the heck is going on here? Hold on. Let me look at this real quick. Real quick. Oh, the game can be completed In less than 10 minutes. Oh my gosh. Okay. To access the file, right-click on Dagon. Okay, hold on. Shame on me for thinking that it was inside the game. Okay, so I need to right-click on it in my Steam library, select Manage, click Browse Local Files. Okay. Manage, Browse Local Files. Okay, so I did it wrong. Little Glass Bottle DLC. And then what? Hold on. Oh, wait. What the hell? I am very confused right now. I thought I had everything ready to go here. Apparently, I have no idea what I'm doing. What the crap, man? Okay, so... Alright, let me bring this up here. Alright, so it says right here... To access the files... Wait, ebooks... Right-click on Dagon, manage, browse local files. That's... I'm so confused right now. Alright, so I just hit play straight off of it. And it brings me here. Alright, what the hell? How to play... Expands upon the base game. A visual novel experience of two. How do I open it? Well, let's try to start a new game. Starting a new game will override your previous save. I don't know if I want to do that. Dude, am I like stupid here? How do I open this game? There's audiobooks, ebooks, wallpaper. What the hell, man? I have no idea what to do. Official, what's going on? My head hurts so bad. I just smashed it into my dresser because I got jump scared. Didn't get Arc to work. No, I couldn't get it to work. I tried for like 2 hours and it just will not let me on there. The only thing I didn't try is to uninstall it and reinstall it because it's 316 gigabytes. So I will work on that. We'll try it again this weekend. Envy, what's going on? Yeah, Official, you okay? So what I'm doing right now is this DLC for this Lovecraft Dagon came out today, and I don't know how to play it. Like, I hit continue, and it just took me to the end of the base game, and I can't figure out how to start the Little Glass Bottle DLC. How to start? So right now I'm trying to look it up. Are there like reviews? Comes with a few small ebooks you can read. I don't know how, like, what, am I stupid here? Like, what the hell? Play now. It just brings me right to here. Hold on, let's exit out of this. Little Glass Bottle DLC. Play now. Like, this shouldn't be this hard. $300 gigabytes? 316 gigabytes. So yeah, I have no idea. I guess I'm just gonna start. Dagon is a faithful interactive adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's work focused on story and atmosphere. You will not find difficult choices, action sequences, or inventory management here.
I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
During the game, you'll encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue your journey. Others reveal interesting facts about the original short story, its historical background, and the author. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes and look for the Elder Sign. The Elder Sign? Is that this stuff here? Oh, yeah, it's this right here. This, like, branch.
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below.
So this is basically like an interactive visual novel of an H.P. Lovecraft book called Dagon.
Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate. When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death. It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
Okay. This looks different from what I remember, so maybe? I don't know. It has been a year since
the Great
oh
War
no, this
was
is
then
the
at its
same.
very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation. So that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners. So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time.
Okay. So there is hidden stuff around here, and I think I'm supposed to zoom my eyeballs on it.
When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings. Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator. Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
I can look at the moon. I don't see anything else. Yeah, this is
The
based...
weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
Yeah, this is made from the Lovecraft story Dagon. And I've already played the base game, and I'm still not sure if I don't know if the DLC is put in here. Do I need to play this all the way through again and it's inside this main game somewhere? I have no idea what we're doing here. But I suppose we might as well just play it. It's only 45 minutes. And then Malik's got a video for me to watch and react to. I think it was a funny video if I remember. Graphics are pretty. Yeah, it's pretty good.
But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue. The change happened whilst I slept. Its details I shall never know, for my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
We got a book of a bunch of his works. Oh yeah, I love H.P. Lovecraft games for sure. And for a while, I was trying to get his books so I could read them. But I wasn't very successful in finding very many of them. Has a nice cover. I will show you on Discord if I remember. All right, Dishonest. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Well, I caught my brother trying to steal my Bluetooth earbuds. It was funny because he claimed I was a liar even though the tracker kept going up as he got closer and a chirping noise was coming from him. If you don't have them, what's that noise in your pocket? Caught in 4K. All right. So I know that I didn't find all the hidden trivia things the first time I played this, so I'm taking my time to look around at everything to see if I can find. So this was made, I believe, by a 2-person indie team.
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see, and in which my boat lay grounded some distance away. Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished. For there was in the air and in the rotting soil a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core. The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish and of other less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain. Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity. There was nothing within hearing and nothing in sight save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear. The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
So this also comes with ebooks and audiobooks of I don't know if it's just Dagon or others as well. This is really weird how it's dark over here, but the sun's up over there. I don't see... Oh, there we go. The Origins of Dagon. Dagon seems to be inspired by Fishhead, a short novel by Irvin S. Cobb about unnatural affinities between a hybrid idiot and the strange fish of an isolated lake. Supernatural horror in literature, H.P. Lovecraft, and Lovecraft's dream about a strange island emerging from the ocean and him crawling in the ooze that covered its surface. I dreamed that whole hideous crawl and can yet feel the ooze sucking me down. In defense of Dagon, H.P. Lovecraft. Lovecraft's interest in the topic stemmed from his aversion to fish and sea smells, in his own words. I have hated fish and feared the sea and everything connected with it since I was 2 years old, but I cannot recall what earlier experience gave me such a profound and lasting aversion to the sea and seafood. The Dweller in Darkness, H.P. Lovecraft, 1927, Donald Wandre. He got pissed off. The next morning, I found out my medication went missing, and it magically reappeared when he showed up. It was under the bed, which we searched under for quite a long time. Just drama is what's up. I don't know. I don't know why people got to do, I don't know. It's not worth the effort and energy, for me to do stuff like that to people. It's like, just stop. You need some earbuds? Let's go get some. I think almost time for my annual mental breakdown, but we cool. Anything you want to talk about? You can tell us about what's going on if you want to. If we can help. So this is definitely the base game here. I have no idea. Maybe I should... You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I should look up a YouTube video and see what it's supposed to look like. Little Glass Bottle DLC. Okay. Little Glass Bottle is a short 5 to 10 minute adaptation of a story by H.P. Lovecraft, written when he was about 7 years old. Original words and spelling have been kept. All profits from both DLCs are donated to humanitarian aid. Okay. How do you start it? How do you start it? How do I start the game? Okay, so we're definitely not playing the right thing. This is the base game. But I played it a year ago, so if you guys are interested in it, I'll just keep going with this. It's only about 45 minutes, so I didn't mean to put the... Oh, Spock symbol. No, it's fine. There's not really anything, just stuff I haven't dealt with. He has a habit of taking people's crap, and when they find out, he starts crap and it magically reappears in areas people had already looked high and low at. He would just sell the earbuds to buy weed. Oh. So is he just like gonna take your stuff and sell your stuff so he can buy weed? That sounded moist.
As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position. Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths. So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might. Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
All right. Any secrets around here? It's like I tried so hard. I tried so hard to get into Ark. I worked really fast to get this set up, and now I can't even get it to work. Ooh, what is this thing? Oh, there's that symbol. Oh! The mystery of Volcanic Island. Volcanic eruptions sometimes result in the creation of islands. Most of them are transient and erode after some time, but some prove permanent. The floating pumice, porous rock created when superheated pressurized rock is ejected from a volcano, can move across long distances and transport barnacles and macroalgae that cling to it. In 2001, rafts of pumice created during the eruption of a volcano near Tonga, Polynesia, eventually reached Australia. Okay. Oh, I just clicked on that. There was no indicator like that. Can play whatever I want. Well, I want to play the DLC, but I don't know how. And this is actually really cool. If you like H.P. Lovecraft stuff.
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens. As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time. That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
He's done it before to my whole family. My father swears he's a good boy, even though he had an extensive criminal history during childhood, and he has been caught stealing from all of us, even me, when I was in a seizure, and then he stole your stuff? Oh my god. What the hell? I don't know, man. That's I don't know what to say about that. I don't know if I could not that you have a choice, but to have someone in the house that would just randomly steal my stuff. I would hate it.
On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease. The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
Alright, I don't see anything else. I just click all over.
All day I forged steadily westward,
The hell
guided
is that?
by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
Well, I'll tell you what else I wanted to do is I wanted to play a game called Jalopy, where you have a crappy car and you're going on a road trip and you have to maintain the car, find new parts for it, maintain the tires, put oil and gas in it and everything. It's a really nice chill kind of road trip simulator type game. And I really want to play that, but I wanted to do this because it just came out today and is really short.
That night, I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
But this is fairly short. I suppose we might as well just finish it now. The horrors of the ocean. The creator of the Cthulhu mythos and the fictional underwater city of Erlier was convinced that life could not exist at the bottom of the ocean because the water pressure would make it uninhabitable. Today we know that the darkest depths of the ocean are home to many peculiar organisms. The deepest dwelling fish we have discovered so far, the Mariana snailfish, can live about 8,000 meters, more than 26,000 feet below the ocean's surface, in never-ending darkness and at hellishly crushing pressures, hundreds of times stronger than those found at sea level. Upon glancing at the modern photos of deep-sea creatures, such as the anglerfish, the fangtooth, or the viperfish, and their truly Lovecraftian characteristics, it's hard not to find some irony in this. Woke up from it and my debit card was missing. I canceled it and a year later discovered it melted in his room when we were moving out. What? I'll be back. How long are you streaming tonight? Probably, I'll probably go 2 hours. It's been a half an hour now, so probably another hour and a half. But yeah, I don't have much of a choice, and I'd love to not have to put up with it. Yeah, that sucks, man. I don't know. I don't know what to do about that.
By the fourth evening, I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance. An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface. Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill. I know not why my dreams were so wild that night, but ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain, I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more. Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again, and in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day. Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy. Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset. Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
Eminence. Anything around here? Anyways, a university is receiving backlash after funding a student's research on masturbating two different materials. After funding a student's research. So a student researched masturbating to different materials? You mean like different genres of porn or pictures or videos or stuff like that?
I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me.
Like different cultures porn? Huh. I don't know. If, research is research, like assignment research, stuff like that, so I was listening to a podcast the other day and they were looking at like Pornhub's, like what countries watch what genre the most. And it's really interesting. But like, that's a thing. That's data that's out there. I don't see why that would be a problem. porn genres. He started with hentai. I don't know, man, it's weird.
But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon.
It's in the United States. It's just because the people in the U.S. just pretend that sex doesn't exist. You know, you're not supposed to talk about it. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to keep it a secret. You know, that's just how it is here. That's probably why.
Whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine. I felt myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night. Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost and of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined. Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent, whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
I always feel like I'm missing something hidden. I want to see Pope Francis play Call of Duty online. That'd be interesting.
Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath, gazing into the Stygian deeps where no light had yet penetrated.
So since we've been talking about genres of porn, he has said edged and penetrated.
All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me, an object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
All right, that's to continue.
That it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself. But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature.
The object is sounding naughty too, this thing right here.
A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express.
Okay, I'm looking at this a whole different way now.
For despite its enormous magnitude and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young,
this kind of stuff, that like chat plus this, like we can't plan this. This type of funny stuff just happens, you know? Despite its enormous magnitude in its position in an abyss,
I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith, whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures. Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
Alright, I'm examining my surroundings.
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm, and revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions, and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope.
This needs to be clipped and uploaded separately. It's funny. It's funny to, you know, have just thought of that and now hear this, and it's like, oh man, this could be taken a whole different way.
Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith, on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures. The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books, consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like.
Also, speaking of hentai, I mean, we already got tentacles in this game now, too.
Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world, but whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain. It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
Storytelling methods. Dagon contains many themes and storytelling methods that Lovecraft developed in his later works, such as telling the story through carvings at the Mountains of Madness, the Nameless City. I have listened to the Mountains of Madness. Journals and characters' notes, The Shadow Out of Time, The Haunter of the Dark, Islands Emerging from the Ocean, The Call of Cthulhu, or fictional beings and deities based on real events and mythologies. Migo in The Whisperer in Darkness. It's also considered the origin of the popular Cthulhu mythos. Some of Lovecraft's other stories also conclude in a manner similar to Dagon, but let's skip the details in order not to spoil the ending. Okay.
Plainly visible across the intervening water on account of their enormous size were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré. I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men, though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto, or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well. Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint. Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer. They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet.
Despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips.
Glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall. Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background. For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself. I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size, but in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe. Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born. Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me.
Queer reflections? So Lovecraft used queer a lot as like a synonym for strange or weird, I think.
Then, suddenly, I saw it.
Saw it.
With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface, the thing slid into view above the dark waters. Vast, polyphemus-like and loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith, about which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, the while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds. I think I went mad then. Of my frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
Whoa.
I believe I sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing. indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat. At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods. When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital, brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean. In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention. Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing, nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
Oh geez. The journalist. Lovecraft was a prominent figure in the world of amateur journalism. In 1915, he started publishing his own journal called The Conservative, which included political and social commentary, poetry, short stories, and literary criticism written by him and other authors. Howard was a skilled wordsmith, but he also took criticisms to heart, which resulted in his decision to step away from writing poetry and concentrate on weird fiction again. For the first time since his teenage years, Dagon was published in 1919 in one of the short stories written during that period. In this excerpt from The Conservative, the master of horror fiction explains his attitude towards warfare and the idea of world peace. Why any sane human being can believe in the possibility of universal peace is more than the conservative can fathom. Should the entire civilized world agree simultaneously to disarm, one or more nations would undoubtedly retain secret armaments and at the proper time take advantage of their more altruistic and less astute contemporaries in a wild career of conquest against unarmed victims. No country is or ever can be above warfare until the basic impulses of the human animal shall have miraculously changed. Sounds like a Ben Shapiro fan. The Conservative. I've heard that H.P. Lovecraft was very much a racist. In defense of Dagon, in 1921, Lovecraft released a series of 3 essays, The Defense Reopens. The Defense Remains Open and Final Words, later published as a collection titled In Defense of Dagon, in which he rebuked a series of criticisms directed at his works. Some notable quotes: "I paint what I dream, and will let the public settle the rest amongst themselves." Mr. Monday asked the raison d'etre of Dagon, "I will give it purely and simply to reproduce a mood. Its object is the simplest in all art, portrayal. The physical horrors of war, no matter how extreme and unprecedented, hardly have a bearing on the entirely different realm of supernatural terror. Ghosts are still ghosts. The mind can get more thrills from unrealities than from realities." In the essays, Lovecraft touches upon the topics of atheism, materialism, the quest for truth, and the love of science. Ooh, another one. The atheist. Lovecraft considered himself an atheist and absolute materialist, which he attributed partly to his early childhood interest in astronomy and science in general. In his words, "I am indeed an absolute materialist so far as actual belief goes, with not a shed of credence in any form of supernaturalism, religion, spiritualism, transcendentalism, metempsychosis, or immortality. All I say is that I think it is damn unlikely that anything like a central cosmic will a spirit world, or an eternal survival of personality exist. They are the most preposterous and unjustified of all the guesses which can be made about the universe, and I am not enough of a hair splitter to pretend that I don't regard them as errant and negligible moonshine. In theory, I am an agnostic, but pending the appearance of radical evidence, I must be classed practically and provisionally as an atheist. Did you hear about the drought in Europe? They can walk across rivers, and they never could before. One area even revealed a stone that had carvings on it that translate to, "If you can see me weep." Huh. No, I haven't heard about that. That's interesting. I haven't heard anyone talk about the big storm coming up for around California either that you were talking about the other day. I thought that it would come up on some of the things that I listen to while I'm at work, but I haven't heard anyone talk about it yet. It actually stormed pretty good here 2 days ago, and it rained for 2 days, which doesn't happen here. It usually only rains for about 5 minutes. So we actually had some flooding, like flash flood here. The track at the high school was flooded over. There was water on the road, over the road. The massage therapist that Laura and I go to sometimes, you go in the building and you go down like 5 stairs right away, so it's a little bit below the ground. And there was so much water that I guess it came in the window, the closed window, and there was like a few inches of water on the floor in their office. So, and that all happened, within like an hour while I was at work. And then when I was driving home, it was like all gone. Well, it's still raining, but the flooding was gone for the most part. So we are starting to experience a little bit more extreme weather than normal.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Dagon was the main deity of the Philistines, worshipped throughout the Middle East as the ancient god of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, the word Dagon was a common noun for grain. The rulers of Akkad, Mesopotamia, chose him as the patron saint of their war conquests. He also appeared as the judge of the dead in an Assyrian poem and an underworld prison warder in one of the Babylonian texts. He is often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name, as in Hebrew the word dag means fish. In H.P. Lovecraft's works, Dagon is an underwater deity ruling over the deep ones, a humanoid race with fish traits that resides in the ocean. He is worshipped by a secret cult called the Esoteric Order of Dagon. The Daily Show with Trevor Noah and Jimmy Kimmel talked about it. It's also on TikTok. It's just not such a massive story that everyone's freaking out about it. So it's probably coming up. As it gets closer and it becomes more news, I bet people start talking about it more. I'm just looking for hidden stuff here. So if that storm is as wide as you say, it'll probably get to Colorado. So we'll probably experience some of it too.
But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
August Derleth and the Cthulhu Mythos. August Derleth was an American writer and anthologist. He also befriended Lovecraft and published many of his works through his company, Arkham House. Although he greatly popularization of the author's works after his death, he is surrounded by numerous controversies. One of the most questionable decisions involved introducing the good versus evil doctrine. Derleth was a devoted Catholic to the Cthulhu mythos, which contrasted with Lovecraft's view of the world and his approach to cosmic horror. As a result, the author's works are often misunderstood and misinterpreted in today's culture. It is also worth noting that Lovecraft was never really interested in creating a mythology, and the term Cthulhu mythos was coined by Derleth after the author left the mortal plane. Jaquel, what's going on? I've been knowing about 3 years ago. Wait. I knew that 3 years ago they told me about what the storm we were talking about. First people were saying, oh, it's coming soon. Now it's sometime within the next 50 years. Oh, okay. I was thinking like, you know, it's within a month, like coming up pretty soon. All right. Oh, there's one. The marketer? Knew about it 3 years ago. Okay. Well, I guess we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see if it happens sooner or later. Lovecraft's attempts to find a job in 1925 were influenced by advice he received from friends. Among others, he started freelancing for a marketing magazine where he would write announcements and commercials. Feel free to judge his copywriting skills for yourself. From an ad for Curtis Woodwork embraces both the usual structural units and the cleverest contrivances of built-in or permanent furniture such as bookcases, dressers, buffets, and cupboards. Every model is conceived and created with the purest art, ripest scholarship, and mellowest craftsmanship which energetic enterprise can command, and made to conform rigidly to the architecture and each particular type of home. The cost, considering the quality, is amazingly low, and a trademark on the individual pieces prevents any substitution by careless contractors. Okay. Necronomicon. What else is around here? The scientist. These days the word scientist is a widely accepted term, but at the time Dagon was published, it was subject to a wide debate. After the author used it in the story, critics pointed out that man of science was a more appropriate term to employ. He admitted in defense of Dagon that if Dagon were to be reprinted, he would indeed use the phrase they suggested. Scientist was coined as an analog to artist, to be used when referring to those studying different branches of science. Yet in the 19th and early 20th century, scientific researchers in Great Britain and the United States were of the opinion that man of science, resembling the term man of letters, was the only proper choice. Among other things, it was gender specific, indicating that science was an endeavor to be pursued by only one sex. The term scientist became more accepted only after World War II, and man of science started fading into obscurity as an old-fashioned synonym. Okay.
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing. I tried morphine, but the drug has given only transient surcease and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave. So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
Morphine. Lovecraft on tobacco and alcohol. Lovecraft hated tobacco, even though he used to smoke when he was 12 in order to look and feel like an adult. In his correspondence with friends Reinhard Kleiner, he claims that he quit as soon as he started wearing long pants. He also had a very strong opinion about alcohol, as evidenced by his letter to Zelia Brown, dated 13th February 1928. As for the matter of drinking, I have never tasted intoxicating liquor and never intend to, having a strong aesthetic disgust at anything which blunts or coarsens the delicate natural equipoise of the evolved human intellect and imagination. Drinking excited my personal repugnance, hence I don't drink. Let the herd do what they will. I am rather in favor of prohibition, the prohibition of any one antisocial force as well as of any other.
Often, I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm, a mere freak of fever, as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man-of-war. This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed, worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind. Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
They're going towards... going towards New York.
The end is near.
Alright, this is the end.
I hear a noise at the door.
The end
as
is
of
near.
Some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
Looking for any other secrets around here. I don't see any.
It shall not find me. God, that hand! The window! The window!
All right. We hope you enjoyed immersing yourself in our little pool of cosmic horror. We would appreciate it if you took a moment to rate. All right, I've done that before. So how do I play the DLC? What the hell, man? Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to uninstall this and reinstall it. And see if that does anything. If not, we got to take a quick look at Dagon again. For those of you who may have missed it last time I did it a year ago. The stream may cut out a little bit, but just know that I did not end the stream. It will be back as soon as this gets done downloading. I wish it would tell me how I'm supposed to access this DLC. Steam Cloud error. Manage. Right click on Dagon, select manage, click browse local files. And then what? I don't know what to do after that. Why can't they just make it so I can start it just like any other game? No, this is still the same thing. Dude, I don't... Look at how many I missed. 1, 2, 3... I only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Little Glass Bottle DLC. Come on. Dude, how the hell... Cold Designer, what's going on? So, this DLC for this little indie game called Dagon came out today, but I cannot figure out how to access the DLC. Okay, let's try this. I have no idea. Like, it says... Right click, go to manage, right click Dagon in your Steam library, select manage, click browse local files, And then what? What do I click on after that? It doesn't say. I've tried all the files in that. Here's a Steam community post. Maybe that'll say something. Yeah, this is what I'm looking at. This is stupid. This is the same thing that I read. So, released to help the victims of war in Ukraine. So, I bought it. So, I've contributed to that. But I cannot figure out how to run it. I don't know what to do. None of this is helping. I don't know. Maybe I should tweet at these guys, I guess. The folder only has Little Glass Bottle DLC, audiobooks, ebooks, and wallpaper. Audiobooks, ebooks, and wallpaper. Please help. All right. Well, I don't know what else to do. We played through the whole main game to see if it would do anything. Have we tried reinstalling the whole thing? Yeah, I just did that. And even in Steam here, I tried playing through the whole game to see if it would help unlock anything. I just reinstalled it. And it even says here, right-click Dagon in your Steam library, select Manage, click Browse Local Files. But what do I do after that? Because when I browse local files, Manage, Browse Local Files, here's what shows up. Here's the little glass bottle DLC, and there's only audiobooks, ebooks, and wallpapers. That's all that's in here. I tried opening it with this Dagon application. I tried the rest of these. I can't. It's like nowhere. Like, I don't know what to do with it. Check the discussion board. I'm searching around to try to find anything. Community hub? Discussion? Yeah, if I open it that way, it just brings me right back to the same menu. I played the base game. I had the Eldritch box. It was so good I replayed it. I can't wait. Nothing here. Bugs. Start a new discussion? Cannot access DLC. I can't seem to find a way to play the little glass bottle DLC. I have purchased it and followed the instructions by right-clicking Dagon in Steam, selecting Manage, and opening Browse Local Files. All that is in the little glass bottle DLC folder is audio books, ebooks, and wallpaper. Please help. I don't know what else to do. Please help. Post. Alright, well, I'll see if I get anything from that. So, in the meantime, I don't know if anybody's still here. Malik, are you still here? Does the other DLC folder have the same setup? So, Dagon data. I mean, there's all this crap. And I don't know what any of that stuff is. Plugins. There's mono bleeding edge. I don't know what that means. The Eldritch Box DLC, that's the same thing. Audiobooks, ebooks, and wallpaper. The Little Glass Bottle DLC, audiobooks, ebooks, and wallpaper. Well, let's watch the Team Fortress 2 video because I can't figure out how to work this. I assume clicking the DLC picture in-game just opens the Steam page? Yeah, it does. Yeah, so if I open the game... And I even played through the whole game again, just to see if it would unlock something. Uninstalled, reinstalled. It just does nothing. So yeah, if I click this... Wait. Don't tell me it's going to work now, because I did this. I did this multiple times. It's a short 5 to 10 minute adaptation of the story by Howard Phillips Lovecraft, written when he was about 7 years old. Original words and spelling have been kept. Dude, I did this multiple times. Oh my god.
Heave to! There's something floating to the leeward.
I just spent an hour and 25 minutes trying to get this to work. I mean, given I played through the base game again, which was only like a half an hour. So I spent 45 minutes trying to get this to work, and now it's working. What's different? Why did it work now? Now that everybody's gone. What the hell? You have to be kidding me. Oh man, I'm gonna have to, when I get done with the stream, I'm gonna have to go to the editing in YouTube and like cut out this whole middle, cut out like an hour of this, so then we'll have the base game straight into the DLC. I don't know. Okay, well let's do it now. Let's heave to. There's something floating to the leeward. Oh, weird.
The speaker was a short, stockily built man whose name was William Jones. He was the captain of a small catboat in which he and a party of men were sailing at the time the story opens.
I can't believe it. I did that. That's how I knew. I did that and it just opened the Steam page. Ugh.
Aye, aye, sir, answered John Towers, and the boat was brought to a standstill. Captain Jones reached out his hand for the object, which he now discerned to be a glass bottle. Nothing but a rum flask that the men on the passing boat threw over, he said. but from an impulse of curiosity, he reached out for it. It was a rum flask, and he was about to throw it away when he noticed a piece of paper in it. He pulled it out, and on it read the following. January 1st, 1864. I am John Jones, who writes this letter. My ship is fast sinking with the treasure on board. I am where it is marked on the enclosed chart. Captain Jones turned the sheet over, and the other side was a chart. On the edge were written these words. Dotted lines represent course we took. Towers, said Captain Jones excitedly. Read this. Towers did as he was directed. I think it would pay to go, said Captain Jones. Do you? Just as you say, replied Towers. We'll charter a schooner this very day, said the excited captain. All right, said Towers.
The only thing I can think of is this is the first time that I clicked that after I reinstalled the game. Maybe that did it. I see a secret here. Family legend. There is an interesting legend about one of the offshoots of the Lovecraft lineage, the Musgraves. They were in possession of a 14th century chalice, most likely from Syria or Egypt, called the Luck of Edenhall. Legend has it that the goblet belonged to some fairies who happily drank from it at the St. Cuthbert's well. When curious people suddenly appeared there, the fairies escaped, abandoning the goblet. Then one of them shouted out a warning. If this cup should break or fall, farewell the luck of Edenhall. Fortunately, the chalice survived, and you can still admire it in the V&A Museum in London. This legend has been reappearing in pop culture over the years, ranging from an old German ballad through the name of a pop rock band to manga. So, sorry, Malik. This is only about 5 to 10 minutes long, and then we'll watch the Team Fortress one right after this. I can't believe it.
So they hired a boat.
Yeah? Then what? Ooh, look at that. Childhood games. One of Lovecraft's favorite childhood games was creating complex scenes using building blocks, models, tin soldiers, and clods of earth. With their help, he played out various historical scenarios. These events were sometimes short-lived. They represented a war, a plague, or simply a thrilling spectacle of travel, commerce, or some event that led nowhere. But sometimes they spanned long eons, reflecting changes in the appearance of the landscape or buildings. H.P. Lovecraft 2, Vernon Shea, November 8, 1933. It is especially interesting considering his later writing career. There was a kind of intoxication in being lord of a visible world, albeit a miniature one, and determining the flow of its events. It was not his only childhood pastime. He enjoyed riding a bike. He received for his 10th birthday so much that years later he described himself from that period as a veritable bicycle centaur. You're good, take your time. Hey, I'm back. Hey, welcome back. So guess what? I just figured out how to play the DLC. So, the only thing that you missed is the base game that I had already played a year ago. So, this is the start of the DLC. We started in this boat. I believe we're a kid. We found a glass bottle. It had a note in it and a map on the back. And that's about all that's happened. So, an hour and a half, and we're into what I wanted to do in the first place. Yeah, great timing. So, we were in the boat, we found a glass bottle, we looked at the note, and now we're here. That's really all that's happened. And then I just read, these are like trivia things that I just read. They also missed out on the game Talking Dirty. Yeah, that was funny. You got there in the end. Yeah, there was a point where Dishonest was telling me about a university that was funding a student that was researching masturbation to different types of media or something, and then the game was saying some dirty sounding sentences. I guess. So it's gonna be dishonest. It was perfect. It was like perfect timing for that too.
And started off governed by the dotted lines of the chart.
Alright, so now we're following the map that was in the bottle. So keep an eye out for those. They look like branches, kinda. I'll tell you when I see another one. Everything sounds naughty, yeah. Especially with like Lovecraft stories with tentacles and wet, moist, slimy type stuff. Yeah, this right here, we're looking for these little branch looking things. There was a thing like that where they lined up some guy to see how far stuff went, and a long time ago it was a medical study. Very important stuff. Fascination with science. H.P. Lovecraft learned to read at the age of 4. He quickly became interested in exact sciences, especially chemistry. As a 9-year-old, he even started publishing his own amateur magazine, the Scientific Gazette, and sometime later, the series The Chemistry. Around 1900, the future master of horror developed an interest in Antarctica and began writing treatises on expeditions to the continent. This undoubtedly influenced one of his most famous works, At the Mountains of Madness, written 30 years later. As a 12-year-old, Lovecraft discovered astronomy, which he later considered his most moving experience. Realizing the immensity of the cosmos had a huge impact on his worldview and work, laying the foundation for the cosmic horror genre. The majesty of the conquest of an expanding universe still makes me shudder in a unique manner. A Confession of Unfaith, 1922. I remember those symbols from the beginning. This was involving a man masturbating to study porn and write a paper on it. What I talking about had a line of men. Okay. We're finally into it. I don't believe we're finally into it. The art style is different.
In 4 weeks, they reached the place where directed.
The main game was really realistic graphics, and this is kind of cartoonish, kind of like Walking Dead or Borderlands. Anyways, I love the pirate music. The part I wanted to clip is gone. I wish I was a pirate captain. Is gone? Well, when I get done, it'll be up on YouTube. Reminds me of Telltale. Yeah, it does.
And the divers went down.
I'm always like concerned that I'm missing something like that. Literature. Lovecraft developed an interest in literature at a very young age. One of the first books he read was Grimm's Fairy Tales. A year later, at the age of 5, he discovered the 1001 Nights collection. As a 6-year-old, he came across the darkly atmospheric illustrations by Gustave Doré. which made a huge impression on him. At the same age, he became fascinated with Hellenistic myths and began his writing adventure. My attempts to write in verse, the first of which I made at the age of 6, were then in the form of raw, internal rhythmic ballads, and I sang about the deeds of gods and heroes, selected letters. However, 2 years later, his literary taste underwent a key shift. That's when I discovered Edgar Allan Poe. It was my downfall at the age of 8. I saw the blue firmament of Argos and Sicily plunge into the darkness of the miasmic fumes of the tomb. Down on your mum gotten? I hope so, because it says your stream is only 10 minutes long or so. 20. I've kind of had that happen when I go back and try to edit stuff. The length isn't right until YouTube actually processes the whole thing. So yeah, after I get done and it actually processes through, it should all be there. Unless something went terribly wrong. Did that happen when I came back to the stream because I didn't close it all the way? Alright, so we're going under the water. Oh, what is that? Grandpa. Whipple Van Buren Phillips, Lovecraft's grandfather, was a very important figure in his life. As the writer said himself, my beloved grandfather became the center of my universe. Van Buren Phillips introduced his grandson to various works of art he brought from his travels, exchanged letters with him, and helped him develop his passions. He largely replaced Lovecraft's dead father. Interestingly, he also cured him of his fear of the dark by encouraging him to walk through a series of dark rooms. Young Howard's grandfather was probably the only family member to tell Lovecraft improvised mystery tales, which undoubtedly influenced his later work. The underwater noise is the best I've heard in any video game. Oh, look at that. Okay. I'm a little bit concerned down here. Oh. What else is down here? Nothing? Exposure therapy.
And came up with an iron bottle. They found in it the following lines scribbled on a piece of brown paper. December 3rd, 1880.
We played Iron Lung. I watched Umbrella play it a little bit, but that's about it. Good underwater noises.
Dear Searcher, excuse me for the practical joke I have played on you, but it serves you right to find nothing for your foolish act. Well, it does, said Captain Jones. Go on. However, I will defray your expenses to and from the place you found your bottle. I think it will be $250, so that amount you will find in an iron box. I know where you found the bottle, because I put this bottle here. And the iron box. And then found a good place to put the second bottle. hoping the enclosed money will defray your expenses some I close. Anonymous.
What's going on, Tyler? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Still on summer holidays. Oddities. There are a few puzzling elements in the glass bottle. In the little glass bottle. For example, the number... Yeah, that was weird. 25.0.00. 250? Which is not a typo, as this amount appears in the text 3 times. It is not entirely clear why Lovecraft decided to write out the number this way, and what he meant by it. While publishers and translators interpreted it in various ways, in our opinion, he most likely meant 250. The map used in the game replicates the original version drawn by Lovecraft for the story. Did you notice that the land marked on it is signed as Australia? A simple typo, or maybe young Howard was already creating his own lands and unknown islands in his imagination. It is also puzzling that the dates on the letters in both bottles are almost 17 years apart. Don't have any time for anything though. Be so happy to go back to school and have some free time. I'm graduating this year. I just realized that. Oh, awesome.
I'd like to kick his head off, said Captain Jones. Here, Diver, go and get the $250.
Why are you trying to find a girlfriend when you're married? Oh, we're back.
In a minute, the diver came up bearing an iron box.
Ooh.
Inside it was found $250. It defrayed their expenses, but I hardly think that they will ever go to a mysterious place as directed by a mysterious bottle.
$250 back then is probably like $25,000. Not ready to be an adult yet. I don't know that adults are actually really adults, you know? That's it. We hope you enjoyed this little trip into the world of Lovecraft's childhood. We would appreciate it if you would take a moment to leave feedback. Alright, I will do that at a later date. I hate small talk in dating, even if it's just a conversation starter. I hate small talk all the time. Like, at work, when the old guys get there, they're like, "Marnin'," and they say it says just like that too. "Marnin', marnin'." And, oh man, it's sure is hot. It's gonna be hot today. You know, just crap like that. Like, okay, just, you know what? If you got something to talk about, fine, but if you're just gonna, like, say stupid crap like that, then just don't. I'd rather punch someone in the eye. Alright, so, well, that was kind of cool. Sorry it took me an hour and a half to find it, but Malik has a video for us to watch here. Let me go back and delete my tweets and stuff that don't need to be there anymore. Asking for help. Wait, how do I find... How do I find my tweets? because I don't see it anywhere. All dating, I've tried it, don't like it. I always end up feeling at fault and awful and wanting to crawl out of my skin. That's true either way. I'm never going to truly grow up. 27, what is an adult? Another hot. Yeah, looks like another. Man, looks like it's going to be cloudy today. Man, we could sure use some rain. I can't see tweets that I have made. I sent one to these developers. Asking them for help. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm going to delete that. Delete. I figured it out. Okay. Now I need to go to Steam. Okay, now I need to delete this one. How do I delete this one? Can't seem to access it. Only members of Dagon are allowed to post this forum. So did it not work? View posts. I can't. Why? View posts. Can't seem to find a way. Okay, this is it. Delete. Yes. Okay, done. All right. I have a video here given to us by Malik. And it's a funny one. It's Team Fortress 2, Meet Them All. I have no idea. I've heard of Team Fortress 2, but I don't know what we're about to watch here. Hold on, I'm missing something. When I talk about people's plans in life, what's important in the world, and what they've been through. Finished the snacks already? Malik's in my Discord. Oh, Malik is Tyler. Finally figured out some plans. Finally. 24, and I still play with yo-yos. Oh, I am, comma, Tyler. Okay, let's watch this and see what this is all about. Hold on. Did the stream just die and we lose everybody? Because it did on my phone here. Is everybody still here? I want to make sure if it did die that you guys get a chance to come back. All right, here we go.
I don't even know where to start with you. I mean, do you even know who you're talking to? Yo, what's up? Do you have any idea who I am? Basically, kind of a big deal.
Hold on, I can't seem to turn up the volume, so let me reopen my volume here.
Oh, man, that's beautiful. You listening? Okay. Grass grows, birds fly, sun shines, and brother, I hurt people. Boink! I'm a force of nature. Bonk! If you were from where I was from, you'd be fucking dead. Woo!
Hold on. I specifically remember laughing at Meet the Retard, and my mom killed me literally. I was in so much trouble. Meet the Retard? What's that? All right.
If fighting is sure to result in victory, then you must fight. Sun Tzu said that, and I'd say he knows a little more about fighting than you do, pal, because he invented it.